are back. Well, you are listening to IBGR.network, and IBGR is our call sign as a radio station. But as you know by now, we're much more than a radio station. We are an international network, and we're in more than 152 countries around the world. We're also on all the social media. We're on Facebook, because we're also Facebook Live here just now. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We've got a YouTube channel. We also have an amazing app. Don't forget to download the app. But I'm so lucky because I'm surrounded by more than 40 hosts around the world. Even the founders themselves, Donna Kunde and Bill Eastman, they are doing their amazing work. They provide hours of content themselves, as well as working themselves blue behind the scenes. I don't even know when they sleep even. And of course, we are very grateful for them. I'm grateful for my fellow hosts. I'm grateful for Donna and Bill. I'm grateful for my partner. I'm so grateful for so many different things. I'm grateful for waking up in the morning. I always say I'm blessed and highly favored. But I am your host, Jan Roberts, the inspirational entrepreneur, and this is episode 4, season 4, why is your GPS for success. In the people lane, people skills for success. Now you can go to our IBGR.network and download our show notes as well. And it'll tell you some more about this, as well as all the podcasts, and meet the different hosts and their podcasts. But as I mentioned earlier, in my video course about discovering your why, you have to start to look at life thus far. What you've achieved, your highs, your lows, and start to write all of that down. Because here I'm going to talk a little bit into it, how you get to your why. So look at your, I'm saying you can't change your life so far, but look at your highs and your lows. Look at your success stories and look at your disaster stories. Look at your amazing emotions of elation, success, happiness, all the excitement, but also look at your deepest emotion of sadness and disappointment and fear. They are all important, but start to write all of them down. You know, go through life, and that's not something that's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. You know, take a pen and paper. I would make as I do in my video series as well, you have a bar like this, and on the radio I can say it, a vertical, and halfway the vertical you've got a horizontal, and you've got the plus 0 to 5, I say plus 0 to 5, but from 0 to plus 5, and from 0 to minus 5 below the line. And all you're going to do is through life, you start maybe from when you were born, you highlight, maybe you actually learn to walk, or you've overcome some early situations, but all these, write them down there and rate them in from your emotional level from 0 to 5. So if you're just happy you got a diploma in swimming, which was wonderful, maybe it's a 2, but also you graduated, that might be a 5, you've got married, that might be a 5, it might be a minus 5, but you know, all these kind of emotions and this far, and put them all on there. Now, and then write a little bit, a paragraph, a story. Now, the list could be any length depending on your age right now, but I'm sure you will all have some items in each of these categories, the positive and the negative. You know, rate them from 1 to 5 on the scale, and now after that, go and pick the highest and the lowest ones. So if that's 4, if you have no 5s, if they're 4s or 5s, but pick them and start to look at the common denominator. But, you know, as far as your emotions and reactions and actions go at that time, and write a few lines about all of that, you know, maybe even a short story about those you've picked. Now, so that is something you need to do. Then, when you look at that, it could tell you a lot about where your heart pounds faster or hurts more, your emotions, which will give you an insight into something that's close to your heart. Now, what you can do after that is, when you make that list, and you can keep, you know, it's live, you know, you can, it's fluid, you can add to it anytime something more comes into your mind, but then you can give that list to someone else not too close to you and ask them for their thoughts, because you also need to find a partner. But see, the reason not too close to you, because those very close to you know you too well, and I put it in inverted commas because they think to know you too well, but know you too well and have already got their biases, their perceptions, and their opinions about you. So it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, for some of you who are a bit older, they'll go, I won't tell you about it, but the good, the bad, and the ugly of you. But if you need to find yourself a partner in this process. And again, The book tells you about it, and my video series goes into this as well. But then there is a few steps to take. Not only to recognize your why, but also prepare and refine your personal why statement. Now, by the way, you can also take your staff and define the why of your entire organization. We do that as well for you. That's a course we can run for you to take your whole organization through it and really define. And it's important. You know, it is very important with you. But there is various steps. But first of all, start looking at these emotions and start looking at these stories of impact in your life so far. It's very important for how your life moves forward. And then when you write them down, so go and start writing down those emotions in that chart, and then rate them from 0 to 5 in your positive or negative emotions, and I've got them on both sides as well. And then write a little bit about them. As you look at pick a few, 3 to 5 of the top highs and 3 to 5 of the top lows. Now if you've only got 2 very lows, if you've got only 2 very highs, 5s, bring in some 4, maybe a few 4s as well, but 3 to 5 maximum. And write something about them, why they gave them a 5 and what it means to you, or why you gave them a -5. And then give those things to your partner. Partner up with somebody who is willing to help you and support and guide you in this. Now, there are more steps to take, but then because from there, when you find it, you also need to prepare and refine your personal why statement. Now, it took me a little while, but my personal statement is that by speaking my truth, I impact and transform millions of people to lead a life of significance. That tells you what I do, why I do it, and who I do it for. And I will talk a little bit into what maybe in Simon Sinek's as well, but when you have actually found all that, and again it's in the program, then you need to take a stand. Do the things you say you believe. So taking the time to discover your why and articulate your hows is simply how we begin the journey. Next comes the hard part. We have to act on them. We have to bring them to life and to have to share them. It's just like reading a self-development book. You discover amazing ideas and insights and processes to follow, but you close the book after you've read it and put it on the shelf. I talked about this already. Your shelf development process, nothing will change. Knowledge isn't power, as we know. Knowledge acted upon is power, and if you act on that knowledge and then evaluate that action every day, that's where the real power lies. So this way we don't only work with what we've learned, in this case about ourselves, but we also reflect on what we did with it every single day. And if it went well, celebrate, because sometimes we need to celebrate, and if some things did not go right, find out what you could do better and take that into tomorrow. That's called experience. Moving into the future better prepared. Upwards and onwards. And share it with others. See, while you can recite your why statement word for word, you can also try variations of the statement and stories to help it give meaning to others. Now, Simon Sinek, for example, he might say, I inspire people. I love this why statement. I inspire people to do things that inspire them, so that together we can change our world. Now this is his why statement word for word. And he sometimes says, I work with leaders to build inspiring organizations that put people first. I believe that if enough organizations do this, we will change our world. See, it's along the same lines, but he built a little bit of a story around it for organizations. And he often uses their vision statements to begin a conversation. So he looks at the vision statement of the organizations. If he's talking about start with why, he'll say, we imagine a world where the vast majority of people wake up inspired to go to work, feel safe when they are there, and return home at the end of the day fulfilled by the work they do. Every product we make, every partnership we have, and everything we do is to bring this vision to life. How beautiful is that? How much more impact will that make for you as an entrepreneur if you can bring that kind of idea from your why, your personal belief, your passion out there? So you get the idea. It's not about using the exact word of your why statement, though that's a good place to start, but it's about finding ways to share who you are and what you stand for as an entrepreneur, as a budding entrepreneur, as a business owner. I hope that makes sense. See, once I got my statement, and in fact I had two similar statements with different wording at first, and left it like that. It was only early mornings when I used to go swimming, it suddenly came to me. And my statement, now reason I'm going to read it to you again. I'm a global influencer, and by speaking my truths, I impact and transform millions of people to lead a life of significance. It's not quite in the exact format, but it has my contribution and impact embedded in it. Now I build around that and talk about this kind of thing, the same as Simon Sinek did, but I know you get a picture. And as entrepreneurs, knowing your why will really support and strengthen you. It will light or reignite your passion, and by talking about this as a statement or in your story, as I talked about some weeks ago, that you will inspire employees, clients, potential clients, funders, and above all, yourself. See, I talked about a few weeks ago that you need to be a storyteller. Instead of dragging your backside from your mattress every morning after hitting the snooze button about half a dozen times, it will make you jump out of bed, even without the need for an alarm clock. Now, if you really want to discover your why, it's never too late. Connect with me and I can guide with my videos and coaching, or both. But the main thing is, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you are going through, find your why, let it guide you, and live your purpose. The world needs you more than ever. Now, I'm just about done, so I hope this helped you. Next week, I'm going to be talking about persistence. And a persistence is not just a nice to have. You can find all my details to the IBGR network or connect with me, Jan Roberts. I am your host for this week. I look forward to be with you at the same time next week, same place, same time, and I will be talking about persistence and not just a nice to have. Remember, nothing happens by chance, it happens by choice. So choose wisely, and I'll see you next week. Take care and have an amazing weekend.